Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of our LinkedIn Live broadcast. I'm super excited today because I want to touch upon an area that I've spent quite a bit of time actually thinking about, and I know that many of you have invested time in understanding that. And I'm bringing on someone that I think will really take it to the next step in terms of getting the understanding out there. So the topic is process mining. And look, we've often talked on these episodes about picking the right problem to solve is almost as important as solving it with the right capabilities. And to do that, really, we're going to double click on process mining. And I'm going to do that with someone that I've come to know and spend some time with. And that is Alex Rinke. Alex, welcome.
Hey, great to be here.
And for those of you that haven't met with Alex or come across Alex before, he's CEO of Celonis. And Celonis, as you know, is one of the larger companies that focuses on process mining. But don't hear it from me. Let's first just get a quick introduction from Alex. Alex, tell us about Celonis and tell us about what you do.
Hey, Sanjay. So first of all, thank you for having me on the show. So at Celonis, we're a fast-growing company, and we help companies and businesses in every industry improve their most important business processes. Things like, order to cash, things like procure to pay, finance processes. And we do this for businesses around the world. We're growing very fast. We are over 800 people now. We grew from, we will be over 1,000, by mid next year. And that's us.
That's fantastic. And look, Alex, I've got to know you a little bit, but I want our audience for the show to really get to know you as well. So now you're in New York today, I think, but that's not where you were born and brought up, and you sort of grew up elsewhere. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you go to school? What did you do in college, etc.?
Yeah, so, I started Celonis while I was at university. So I always say, like, I have the most boring resume in the world. I only ever had one job, which is running Celonis. And even though the company changed, I always had the same job. But yeah, I grew up in Berlin, actually, in Germany, right after the wall came down in Berlin. And then I moved to Munich to study math. So I majored in math. And then, I met my co-founders at university, and we had this idea to start a company to focus on process mining, and that's what we did.
We always enjoy having people with such diverse backgrounds. You born and brought up in post wall coming down Berlin, and then Germany, and then started a company right out of college, and obviously the company's done really well. Tell me this: if you had to give a recommendation for a book to our viewers, just so they get to know some of your thinking, what would you suggest for this year?
So a recommendation. So then I will pick nonfiction, because I think we have a lot of business viewers here. And one thing that I've learned at Celonis when we went global was to work with people from different cultures. And I think Genpact is the same thing. You have a big base in India, in the US, and all around the world. And there's a book that I really like, which is called The Culture Map. And what it does, it basically tells you all about, the different cultures and how they communicate differently, and helped me a lot, making a global team work successfully. I say if you ask me to recommend a fiction book, I would probably recommend A Little Life. It's a very good book, plays in New York. It's a little sad, but it's excellently written.
Wow. We have lots of guests come on the show, and there's lots of books that come through. I have not heard of either of those two books, so it's definitely on my list to look at. Thank you, Alex, for sharing that. I'm going to change gears quickly. Look, there's lots of terminology and words and things that get thrown around in the world of automation and intelligent automation, and in the spectrum of process mining and journey mapping, and then automation, robotics, right all the way through AI, natural language. What exactly is process mining?
Yeah, so the best way to think about process mining, I think, is like, imagine, you have all these, so it's obviously software technology, and when you think about software, you have all these technologies that help you to run your business processes. Like you have, ERP systems such as SAP, Oracle, Microsoft. You have a CRM systems such as Salesforce, etc. And that's not what process mining is. That's not what we do. What we do is we sit on top of these systems And we even sit on top of things like Excel and email, and we analyze what is going on to automatically give people a picture of their as-is processes and the most important friction points within these processes. So we can tell you, if you look at your order to cash process, it runs through 5 different systems. It takes this long. Here's where the main bottlenecks are. Here's where the main inefficiencies are. And that's in essence, that is process mining. And I think it's matured a lot from there, but that's the basic idea.
So Alex, and just so if I get this right, back in the day, right, first off, these business processes are complex processes. Any of those, the ones you mentioned, they go from multiple people, multiple applications, multiple systems, maybe even across ecosystems, right? And so back in the day, when you needed to understand how efficient or inefficient a process is and where you need to make improvements, you do the time motion studies, you do the Post-its and kind of draw everything out on a map and a board and kind of physically try and recreate. And I think what you're suggesting is that there's a way to do it much better and automatically and electronically, where you can get information directly from the systems and map out the journey of a process end to end. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
100%. Some people ask me always, who's your biggest competitor? And I'm like, okay, our biggest competitor is a company called 3M, a company out of the Midwest in the US. And then they ask me, why 3M? Like, we know these guys, why? I'm like, yeah, because they produce the Post-it notes. And by the way, they are also great and valued customer of Celonis. But they produce the Post-it notes, and that's how people do it. That's how people still do it. You have a process improvement project. You want to improve your lead conversion. You want to improve your accounting process. People get in a room, throwing Post-it notes on whiteboards to map out what is currently happening and think through how they can improve it. And there's a way to do that in the digital world, based on process mining.
And it strikes me, Alex, that this isn't about just replacing Post-its and all of the effort that people have to do. This is all about getting more accurate information, getting it to be more comprehensive, and then getting it at higher accuracy with that.
Yes, it's of course it's faster, and you don't need to have these lengthy assessments, but you get much better information, and you get it anytime in real time. So we have a constant connection to the data sources, which means that we can tell you, how the process changes over time, and are you improving it? Are you not? We can it's not a one-off assessment, and it gives you the full truth. There's just, when we started the company, we were in a project, and we had the idea, and the project was about helping. There was a hotline in a company, helping them improve the processes behind that hotline, right? And we did the same. We did a manual process mapping exercise. Everybody told us a different story. There was a lot of, politics, a lot of unclarity in terms of what's really going on, and that's what we're trying to tackle.
So look, I'll tell you, for the digital transformation experts that are going to be on this conversation, this sounds really magical, because you have the ability to get data dynamically in real time over a period of time. You have the ability to get it accurately. You have the ability to use it very quickly, and you have the ability for it to be comprehensive. So it's magical, but it's all theory. So bring this to life. Give us an example of where you've applied this and someone that's benefited from it. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'll give you a few. One very good one is a company called Uber. Everybody knows them. They're a big customer of ours, Uber. And you think about Uber's customer service, right? Basically the process behind the app. When you have an issue and you file that issue on the app, or you call in because your driver didn't show up, or you got charged the wrong amount, there's 40,000 people behind that process, and we help them, analyze globally. They have so many different markets and so many different countries they're active in. How can we be better? How can we deliver a better outcome to our customers? And we help them improve the resolution times, get more efficient, and have a better experience for their customers. I think, yeah.
What a great example, because we can all relate to it, because we've all used Uber, and many of us have sort of come across those customer service issues. And I think the fact that they're a live example is fantastic. Alex, we do a lot of work together. We're in different scenarios deploying some of these technologies hand in hand. I'm going to skip forward a little bit, and I want to get a view from you on where's the industry going, and what do you think is next?
Yeah, so I think there's two things. two big things that the industry needs, and we are certainly working very heavily on. And the first thing is to not just deliver the insight on what is going on, but also deliver the action to improve the process out of the Celonis platform. And so you have one platform where you see what's going on, and you can actually fix it right in the platform. And fixing means you can change configuration, the underlying systems, you can give alerts to people what to do, you can give simple apps to people to fill holes in their process. So we are working, well, we have already been working for a couple of years on that very heavily, and we're making tremendous progress. The second thing I think that we're doing, with our partners actually, and we are working on several really exciting things with Genpact, is building domain expertise into this approach, right? And building domain-specific knowledge. When you think about Genpact as an example, I mean, you're experts in accounting and travel and sales and supply chain in many different areas and many different industries. And bringing this expertise into the platform and building specific, specific solutions, I think is another big topic of innovation. And I think, in order to do both, to build real solutions and in order to build the action in, you need to be able to look ahead, not just look back on what happened historically in the process. But we've invested a lot in our machine learning capabilities and our AI portfolio to be able to say not just what happened historically, but what is going to happen, so that you can remediate and take action.
The notion of digital capabilities like the ones that come from Celonis, domain understanding that comes from partners, and we're one of them, that can bring it together. And the future of self-healing business processes, the idea that we'll continually monitor, update, enhance, and fix inefficiencies. What an amazing kind of vision. And we're all excited to be working in that space. Alex, thank you for joining. Exciting. Thank you for joining and sharing a few minutes with us. For our viewers, thanks for tuning in. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for having me.